Hello, yes, Miss Cristina. Good evening. And Sir Ken, thank you for inviting me here. It's an honor.
So anyway, we'll start the ball rolling because I'm sure a lot of people can are waiting for have their questions lined up, and they also have some issues to discuss with our special guest. So Miss Maerrol, so we introduced you. I see that you are a registered physical therapist and a registered nurse. So how did you go about having 2 degrees?
Long story. And right now, I'm a student pa in MA in psychology, okay? And soon to be a registered psychologist. Claim it, di ba? I always tell my students to think positive, think in advance. Advance kami mag-isip, okay? So sa mga 2024, okay? You know what? PT and pagiging nurse, yung parang hindi siya na ano, kasi it's like, di ba, yung iba, parang it's like, ang haba ng pila, gusto daw mag-nurse. Ang haba ng pila nung nursing, kaya nag-engineering, mga ganon. Yung sa akin din, I really wanted to be a doctor. Kaya lang, when I was in fourth year, nung high school, actually, yung course ko, napasukan nung first year college, Political Science at UP Manila. At you know what? May dorm na kami nakuha because I'm from Iloilo, Ilongga ako. That's why you will know yung parang yung tone ng voice ko. Okay, once I speak in Tagalog, parang may Miriam Defensor Santiago sound like, parang ganon. That's why, enrolled na ako sa UP Manila na, okay, Polsci. Then ang dorm ko, doon pa sa UN. Yung parang may Pope Pius doon. Then may sked na for the classes. It's like my sked is Monday to Wednesday, 8 to 3. And nakita ng mom ko, sabi niya, oh, wala kang pasok Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Hala baka mag-pot session daw ako sa Tagaytay. Yung sabi ko naman, Mami, bakit sa Tagaytay talaga? Hindi ba ako pwede mag-pot session sa Bulacan at Batangas or sa Baguio? Ayun. That's why instead of sending me here in Manila, binalik ako sa Iloilo. At ang pinaka-popular na course noon, nung time ko in year 1996, was PT. And doon sa school niya, sa Iloilo Doctors, pinasok ako doon parang 1 week prior to the start of the classes. At nakuha naman ako ng entrance. Pero kumuha lang ako doon para kumuha because parang yung upcut, di ba? Parang September, October pa lang, alam mo na. That's why, parang yung mind ko, nasa poli-sci, pagkatapos yun, pinasok ako sa PT. Kasi hindi ko pinansin yung nanay ko talaga. Yung parang, bakit ako nandito, di ba? Parang, ayun, but you know what? When things happen your way, you call it God's direction. But when things happen not the way you wanted it to be, it's God's direction. You know what? And no regrets, nasa Iloilo Doctors College ako sa School of Physical Therapy because I got to know a lot of good people. Shout out sa dean namin, si Dr. Jose Soriano, and to all my classmates, my friends, okay? To all my students sa PT. And I even started my review center sa physical therapy, okay? That's why parang hindi siya ginusto, pero nalihis ako sa isang way na of which na I'm so thankful naman and understand ko yung mom ko because obviously I graduated in Assumption or I've been in Assumption for 13 years. Girl pa ako. And I'll be alone here in Manila. So with the peer pressure, baka ma-carried away or baka ma-invite ako. Pagkatapos, syempre, wala ako dito parents. That's why yon binalik ako sa Iloilo. Ang pagiging nurse ko naman, okay. So I have a review center na for PT. Then, tumaas yung demand for nursing. And syempre, sa review center, ayun, dumami yung students. So sabi ko, it's hard for me to give of what I don't have. So better siguro, mag-nursing din ako. That's why the reason of me na pumasok sa nursing is not to go to the US, but for the review. Then yun, pag-graduate ko, I opened na the RGO Nursing Review, and I was so blessed. I got to know a lot of students na very loving talaga. That's why nurse is a caring profession. Ayun. That's why I'm happy that they're all frontliners right now. Mga PT, mga nurses, yes, I'm so proud of them that it's like na hindi ako directly na nagka-care sa mga patients right now, but in one way or another, I have touched or I have been an instrument for them to practice their profession. Ang psych naman, well, parang I just started last year, August naman, kasi I'm into the review din of psych. And sabi ko, wala akong background. I am a PT and a nurse, so better siguro yun. And age has no, and learning has no limits naman. So at my age, I enrolled myself in St. Dominic sa MA in Psychology with Doc Philip, okay? That's why kasi we have a review there. We have an ongoing review. So yun na lang, sinabi ko, Doc, pwede ba? And yung background ko, hindi ako BS Psych for my undergrad to have an MA. It's like nursing ko and PT, yes. He accepted may mga bridging courses lang. So right now, ayan.
Chris? Ito lang. Hindi yata. Chris.
Okay,
Chris,
so
yeah.
can you hear me? I'm actually fixing our sound. So
Yeah, okay na. Okay na.
Yeah.
Much better na. Yeah, okay na. Malinaw na siya.
yeah, so I have to apologize to that. Okay, so I don't know if it's some sort of okay, so Miss Maerrol actually did a background there of how she came to have 2 degrees. So my question now is, so right now, it's a good time to be in psychology because people are talking about mental health.
Yeah. And with the crisis or the pandemic that we have right now, we are in need of, psychologists, psychometricians, who can help or address the mental health issues that we have right now.
Yes, Ms. Maerrol. For our HR viewers, okay, so how can they address? So can you talk about, I'm sure a lot of people have been going to you. What can you say about the state of mental health in organizations?
Yeah, okay. As we can hear, di ba yung COVID, it's a pandemic talaga. I mean, it's worldwide. And it affected a lot of people. And we can hear a lot of mental problems and a lot of suicide, depression, anxiety. And as young as 2016, may nagsisuicide, okay? And we have also a lot of students, who are already RPMs, registered psychometricians, and registered psychologists who are working right now. And there are a lot of cases of which sometimes sa chat namin, like this morning, parang bigla may chat, sino dyan pwede mag-psychologist that maraming clients, okay? And ang main problem nila, for example, mga employees right now, you know what? Sometimes grabe yung pressure sa kanila. Because of the COVID, there are a lot of unemployed. And especially their parents because they are the ones na aging, some of them nawala ng trabaho. And sometimes there's a pressure on them because sila ang breadwinner. And ayun, so work nila, ang nakakatakot pa minsan, it's like na there is uncertainty. Okay, kung for example, this will be regular or sometimes meron akong kilala na in 1 month, 10 days lang yung work. Pagkatapos may kilala din ako na HR siya, pero nagka-COVID siya because 3 of her mga kasama nagka-COVID. At ang fear pa nila, once in the workplace, that they will carry the virus at home. It's like na yes, they're working for the family, they're the breadwinner, pero natakot nila is parang everyday, parang it's like nakakapagod right now mag-work. Why? Pag wake up in the morning, you have to travel. And obviously, you cannot see the enemy in you. Magkasama mo sa jeep, baka you will be the one to get the virus. Then pagdating mo sa work mo, obviously, you share the same aircon, the same air. Usually yun sa mga call center, once isa, parang wow, ang dami bigla, 86, 125, parang lahat, pati yung naglilinis ng floor nila, yung pating janitor, nagka-positive din sa COVID. then yun, yung ano pa na nila, ang problem nila pag uwi nila ng bahay, that sometimes they can carry the virus sa mga families nila, lalo na kung may mga lolo-lola or meron sila mga parents na or senior citizens. Okay, that's why sana sa mga HR, they're also understanding din na sometimes when yung employee is not feeling well, parang hindi mo siya pilitin. It's like you have to encourage this employee to stay home, observe for 3 days. Who knows, it might be an early sign and symptom of COVID. Then obviously you have to make the workplace very conducive, okay, and very for the safety of all the employees. Then syempre you practice everything from the temperature, from the mask, social distancing, and you tell everyone that observe also your fellow colleague or your fellow workers na once you can see na parang kahit isang symptom lang, parang weakness, may trangkaso or fever, i-report sa HR agad so that you can address that concern and make sure that the workplace symptom-free of COVID. Ayan.
You're on mute, Chris. You're on mute.
But people don't like to go out anymore because it's actually quite weird to go out because you have to prepare a lot of things. I have to prepare for
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay,
Mga
so
unnecessary travels.
unnecessary travel. No, actually the preparation you have to put on your
For the work.
mask and then you have to put on a face mask.
Nakakapagod, actually. Yeah.
I also have this little thing around my neck. It's actually an ionizer. That's supposed to actually kill the germs or something. So anyway, Miss Maerrol, so most of you, this time we were talking offline and you mentioned that last year there was no review in psychology. There was no psychology board exam. So it's a big thing now. So can you say a little bit about the psychology board exam?
Yeah, our last board exam was in 2019. So last 2020, walang board exam because of the COVID. So na-move siya this August 1 and 2. And I'm praying that sana hindi makancel or ma-move because we need psychologists right now. We need licensed psychologists and psychometricians, okay? So the board exam for psychology, we offer two review, okay? It's for psychometrician and psychology, okay? So when you say psychometrician board exam, these are the students who graduated in their AB or BS psychology, yung 4 years na AB or BS. So once after mag-graduate sila sa AB or BS, they can get the psychometrician board exam. Then, pwede ka mag-masters, okay, for 2 to 3 years or it depends on your specialization. After na masters mo, pwede ka naman kumuha ng psychologist board exam, of which at the end of your name, you will have an RPSY. Okay, that's why iba yung psychometrician, iba yung psychologist. So after undergrad, psychometrician yon. Then after your MA, your master's, psychologist naman yon.
So if like some of my colleagues here on HR Shouts, okay, the reason they're very interested in the topic is it too late for them pa ba maging MA? Is it too late for them?
Hindi. Okay, look at me. I'm an example of that. My God. I'm already in my line of work and yet, okay, nag-masters ako. You know what? There is no age or limit to learning. Learning is a lifelong process. It starts from womb to tomb. And there are a lot of people that needs you right now. So better mag-MA na kayo sa psychology, okay? Para maging psychologist, okay?
Yeah, so that's good, okay? Kasi a lot of people are worried. Kasi a lot of them, they were choosing between an MBA and an MA. Eh, hindi naman daw sila business-oriented. They would like to go into the side of counseling and coaching. So they're thinking of getting their MA degrees.
Yeah. At marami akong classmates nga na yung background nila, may accountancy or parang may marketing. And the professors are good. They really explain, for example, they understand ang background mo, hindi sciences. That's why, once they explain, bumababa sa talaga sa level that everyone can understand. Parang step by step. Yeah.
So anyway, so that's a good, that's good news for people who, want to have a second career, a third career. Okay, it's never too late for them. So when you go and review for the psychology board, so mahirap ba tong exam na to, Miss Maerrol?
Lahat naman actually ng board exam, mahirap, di ba? There is no shortcuts to success, okay? Pero once you have the license, wow. So the secret is the preparation, di ba? Magiging madali siya if you prepare. That's why here in the review, we conduct seminars that we guide the students that preparation is not after graduation. That preparation for the board exam starts on the first day na nag-step ka ng school. Dapat alam mo na ang nursing, na ang PT, ng psychology may board exam. These are board exam courses, so you have to take all your subjects seriously. And dapat you have to be aware what are the subjects that are offered in the board exam. Para, for example, alam mo may TOP. So during your theories of personality subject, you have to take it seriously because lalabas siya sa board exam. Ayun siya. So the secret is always the preparation. Tanungin kita, makakain mo ba ang elepante? Siyempre, sagutin mo, hindi. Pero kung kainin mo starting nung first year ka, mauubos mo siya. Same is true with your books. Mauubos mo unti-unti, hindi bigla. That's why here in the review, we call it review because it must be repeat what has been viewed before while you are in school. Diba? Siyempre, it's like we will recall na lang. Parang it's like, remember, you're ganito. Pero that's not the case sometimes. Sometimes it's first view. Because yung estudyante walang background, parang hindi daw tinuro sa kanila. That's why we are there. Okay? We will complement sana what have been taught in school. Ayan, to prepare the students. Ayan.
So, yes, I saw your review. That was the pearls. Okay, that's your review
Pearls,
book.
mga books po yun, ma'am. Mga books.
Yes, your review books like pearls and nuggets. Okay, so it's good. It's actually good. It's systematic, and then it's in bullet form, and then it's very comprehensive. Actually, we gave it away in an earlier episode. So people are actually browsing through it even if they're not taking the board exam. Wala lang, just to, like, kasi meron dun yung mga job analysis, job description.
Yeah, may book kami na IO, yeah.
Yeah,
And pagkatapos, ang galing naman, memorize mo, okay? That's why. Oo, yeah. Once the student enroll with us, they receive free books. Kasi sometimes, di ba, gagraduate lang yung isang book, wala. And obviously, saan mo kukunin ang knowledge mo? Siyempre sa mga books din. It's like, hindi naman pwede na ang lecturer salita ng salita, wala kang background. That's the reason why, once they enroll, we give the books, they study it before, then we make it simple for them. Ayun siya. And it covers the 4 subjects in the board exam. Next slide.
How long do you study for the board exam? It's
usually, it's dapat, no, matagal siya. It's 4 to 5 months. Okay. Matagal din. Kasi hindi mo naman siya pwede na parang isang month lang biglaan. But we have that program. We call it crash course. Because these are the students na parang ang late na nag-decide or yung graduation nila is late. Like for example, right now, some of them will graduate pa April, May. And we don't have an ongoing review right now. Hindi makahabol. Kaya lang, sometimes yun. Good talaga sana kung longer yung preparation para unti-unti, every week. Ayan.
Oh, so you would suggest that they should allot like in their time frame mga 4 to 5 months.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Para hindi nila i-shock.
Oo. Parang it's like na every week we give a certain topic. Like for example, sa amin, we divide it into parang meron pa una refresher. When you say refresher, input yon. So it's like nag-lecture na kami ng theories of personality. May lecture kami sa psych assessment. Then may lecture kami sa the 4 subjects, the ab, psych, and the IO. Then after which, parang bank kasi ang review. Ang board exam parang bank. The board exam will withdraw kung ano nalalaman mo. So question, anong i-withdraw kung wala kang diniposit doon? That's why the first part of our review, we will deposit or input of all the subjects. So mega lecture talaga yung mga professors or lecturers namin. Then in the middle, we have these exams na mga drills. Because this time, we will make the students analyze. Ayan. For example, ito marami ka nang alam. So parang, okay, mag-test taking na tayo. We call that mga final coaching drills. Ayon. That's why, because we prepare them for the board exam, which are questions. That's why the last 2 months, puro naman questions, and nag-i-improve sila, makita namin. For example, they start with 30 lang over 100. Then habang malapit na lang, nagiging 40, nagiging 50, ayan. That's why we also assess their progress. Okay.
So this one is systematic and then it's more organized. So usually, what are the issues naman for, well, kasi di ba hindi naman lahat dyan pumapasa, but is there like a target grade that is accepted?
Wala naman. Kaya lang, ito lang, mahirap talaga ang psychometrician at psychologist. That's why the passing percentage nasa line of 4, line of 5. Last 2019, yung pinakamataas, parang nag-64%. So it only shows that, for example, it's 50%. Kung 50% sa 10, 5 lang pumapasa, but that's not the case in RGO, okay? That's why marami estudyante namin ang pumapasa, 91% kami. And I'm happy that in the top 10, sa top 10, we had 67 top notchers. Kasi sometimes, in one number, like yung top 2, 5. Yung top 10, 14. That's why you sum it all up, 67. So I'm proud that, okay, I have a good team, a super brilliant team. Shout out to you.
Yeah, so congratulations to the team of RGO for your high batting average.
You know what? I'm really blessed din sa psych. I got to know a lot of people. We have a lot of branches. Hindi ko naman sila kilala. Hindi naman ako psych. But you know what? If you share, kasi sa organization, dapat you have to have the same vision, mission, philosophy, values. And I'm happy, values, mababait sila talaga, matatalino na, top-notcher pa, pero ang bait. Parang they're humble, parang mga ganon. And I'm happy that, ayun, we work together. Parang, syempre, dapat may leader sa organization, someone who guide. Pero you know what? Yung parang, we have our own responsibilities na walang contest. It's like na, parang we all work hand in hand. That's why teamwork makes the dream work. At nakita mo yung walis ting-ting, example ko tayo, yung walis ting-ting ba is yung parang walis na maraming sticks?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because ilonggo ko sa amo na silhig, basta mo na, walis ting-ting, di ba?
I can understand you kasi my maternal side, okay, they're actually Bisaya. But I
tawag pala bukog. Sa amin, it's bukog. Parang yung stick, yeah. Oh, what have you noticed? Di ba it's intact? Parang it's like, parang 50 or 100 sticks in one bukog, okay, or walis ting-ting. Try to cut it up. Diba ang hirap? Because they're all together, they are united, they are one. But get one stick from that walis ting-ting and try to cut it. Madali, diba? So same is true with the organization. Kapag group kayo that works together, hirap nyo pababain or united we stand and we shall never fall. Pero once ikaw lang isa, bida-bidahan ka dyan, madali kang maputol. That's why that's the essence of us. Teamwork makes the dream work.
So, Miss Maerrol, you mentioned it, okay? So, psychologist, psychometrician, okay, what's the difference? Yeah, psychiatrist.
Okay.
What's the difference between the three?
Yeah, yung tatlong word na yan, sometimes parang hindi alam ng iba yung difference. You have psychometrician, we will go to the level of education also. Psychometrician, followed by psychologist, psychiatrist. When you say sa level of education, after the BS and AB psychology na 4 years, magkuha ka ng board exam, you'll be a licensed psychometrician. Okay, then later, I'll discuss the function or the role. Then, after your MA, you get 2 to 3 years of your MA, then may 200 hours at least ka pa of internship, you can now get the psychologist board exam. Ang psychiatrist, doctor yon. Dapat graduate ka ng medicine, then meron ka pang board exam, may PGI, then mag-residency ka or mag-specialize ka in psychiatry. That's why doctor yon. And obviously, ang roles nila pataas din. When you say psychometrician, parang it's, what you call that? Parang 2 words siya, di ba? You have the psych means mind, metrician, meter, measure. That's why it measures the mind, or they are the ones who conduct psychological testing and assessment. Nagbibigay ng exams, di ba sa school, we have when we are in grade 3, ina-assess. For example, if your mind is in grade 3 or advanced ka pang grade 5. That's why they measure the skills, the knowledge, or the abilities of their clients. Kasi hindi lang pwede students. Pwede din sa workplace. They can assess the level of abilities of this certain employee. Ayan. Next naman, they can also do the exam construction to check for the validity and the reliability, okay? So that's why, ang psychometrician, marami, okay, once may tao, may mga HR. Yeah, di ba? Usually, ang mga HR, mga managers are psychometrician or RPMs, licensed psychometrician. That's why they can work in school as psychometricians, sa academe, or they can work in the industry. Pwede sila sa mga, industry, mga companies, okay? Then they can also work sa clinics, okay? That's why they have a lot of choices kung pwede saan mag-work. May academe, may clinical setting, may industrial setting. Then, pag mag-masters ka naman, di ba? You will now have the word psychologist. Ano ka naman magsabi? Psychologist. Psycho is mind, study of the mind. So when you say psychologist, they study the behavior, the thoughts, the feelings, the personality, and if there is deviation from the norm. At kapag mag-psychologist ka na, pwede ka na mag-open ng clinic mo. Because you can accept clients, you can assess, you can interview, you can evaluate, and you can formulate your treatment. Saan ka makakuha ng mga clients mo? For example, you have a partner school. Once may bata na problematic, na may problem siya, for example, once may reading problem siya, or umiiyak palagi, pwede i-refer sa'yo. Or pwede din may partner ka ng mga companies. Ayun. Or for example, pwede din patayo ka ng clinic mo. Once sa bahay, mayroong problem about may schizophrenic, may nakakita na hindi na wala, or may naririnig na wala. We call it hallucination. You can also accept, pero once na parang hindi na kaya ng treatment mo, you can now refer to a psychiatrist, okay? Ang psychiatrist naman, they are doctors, okay? That's why, ano naman ang role nila? Obviously, ang course ng doctors is what we call medicine. That's why they can have the mga interventions like they give medications. For example, hallucination, may Haldol. For schizophrenia, may Thorazine. For anti-anxiety, you have tranquilizers. But obviously, that's the reason why may psychiatrist ka and parang halos lahat ng drugs. Because obviously, these drugs can have miracles sa clients. Once, for example, ang therapy parang hindi na umubra, they can now be referred to the psychiatrist. Then this psychiatrist will assess, will check, and they can now give. If you look at it, doctors lang ang makagive medications. Even sa nurses, we call that a dependent nursing intervention. Meron din mga medication, pero mga over-the-counter. Because sometimes, you know what, it's not good, okay, for those who are listening, hindi pwede mag-self-medicate. Why? Sometimes, hindi ka mamatay sa sakit mo. Mamamatay ka sa drugs na tinake mo because of the side effects or the adverse effects. For example, ang sakit mo lang is may infection ka sa paa. Wala, yung friend mo may antibiotic. Akala mo din uubra sa'yo. Walang prescription kasi kailangan talaga ng doctor's prescription, di ba? Wala ka. So, yung sa friend mo, hiningi mo. Pag take mo, hindi mo pala alam, ang side effect nun, may palpitation. At may heart problem ka, na heart attack ka. So, saan ka namatay? Sa heart attack. Na side effect ng drug. Pero ang sakit mo, infection sana sa paa. That's the reason why these psych drugs, ang taas na mga effect, na mga side effect. For example na lang, ang side effect. Ito, tranquilizers. Di ba? Anxiety, problem rin. Anxiety, grabe hindi makatulog. Restless, grabe ang problem. When you say kasi anxiety, that is fear of the unknown. Yan ang difference niya sa phobia. Ang phobia, it's a specific fear. That's why sabi ko, I'm anxious, pero hindi naman madali magsabi na, anxious ako. Grabe, takot talaga, anxious agad, di ba? So it's like na kailangan talaga ng mga, assessment for that. So, magsabi ka na anxiety, may drug for that, which you call anti-anxiety, pampakalma. Or we call it tranquilizers. Pero hindi ka pwede pumunta dun sa drugstore, mag-order ako tranquilizers kasi hindi siya over-the-counter. Kasi akala mo tranquilizers lang pero grabe ang effect sa'yo. Why? Kasi siya ang nagpaparelax. Siya ang nagpapatulog. Pero what happens to your heart rate? Bumababa. What happens to your respiratory rate? Bumababa. Na kung sobra ka, pwede ka makoma. That's why the doctor will only prescribe like 3 tablets or 5 tablets, then i-monitor ka. So nakita mo, it's like akala natin, gamot lang siya, pero it has a lot of side effects. Okay, so yun, that's why pupunta ka na talaga for the psychiatrist for the medical or for prescription drugs.
Mm. Yeah, kasi for example ako I get to work with a lot of people then, no. So lalo na pag sa bipolar, mga
Yeah.
may bipolar syndrome.
Bipolar naman is what we call
Talagang
may manic. Oh, may
mm,
bipolar dalawa, bi meaning may ano siya of manic at may ano siya of depression. Okay, may symptoms, yeah.
yeah, so most cases na for example with involves like hallucination and like yun nga mga going through bipolar syndrome, talagang kino-connect na namin yan sa mga psychometricians,
Yeah, tama,
psychologists.
oo.
Yeah,
Or you
for
refer them to your
mm,
HR. Then ang
mm,
HR, pwede i-refer yan sa psychologist. Ayan. That's
mm.
why, you know what, may stigma na parang it's sign of weakness if you ask for help. No. Okay, it's like na right now, okay? That's why, for example, if you have some concerns, you can consult. Okay, punta ka kung may friend ka na psychologist, ayan, you can talk to them and they can do a lot. Okay, they will have psychotherapy with you, counseling, ayan.
Yeah. If ever pala, kasi I mean, there are lots of people right now like looking for help. And most of them don't know where to find help. And do you have any suggestions, like a hotline or like a website that they could easily go through?
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot in Facebook, okay? And I'm happy that a lot of psych testing or marami na, kahit ako, may mga friends ako na may mga testing centers, okay? That's why meron din yung sa NCMH, yung National Center for Mental Health. You go to their FB page, may mga hotline sila. May mga Bulatal Center, yeah, yung sa Ateneo, okay? Then, ito, kasi Sir Renz, kasi friend ko may RGO Psychological Testing Center din, dun sa Pampanga. And it's
Pampanga.
Parang nag-expand na, okay? That's why, Sir Mark this store, or i-PM nila. PM nila ang RGO, and we will refer you to our students who are already passers. And you know what? May chat kami kasi noong 2019 na mga psychologist na group. Kasi parang after a week, may client, sino pwede, o sino gusto nito na client. Yeah. Ayan, ang dami. And syempre, it's like na, okay, sige ako, taga saan ba siya? Ayan, because we also have a pool of passers na who are registered psychologists. That's why you just PM us and we will refer you. And we also have lecturers na psychologists. We have Ma'am Yeng, ayan, Dr. Kliachko, Sir Patrick, Sir Eric, ayan.
Yun, solid yun, no? Kasi napaka-importante for our viewers, napaka-importante rin na talagang you get to go to trusted people.
Yeah, oo.
Diba? Oh,
because it's no joke, diba? Yeah, dapat you go to licensed, okay, and are qualified, okay, to do it or to give you help. Siyempre, hindi naman pwede kung kanino lang. Sometimes, yeah, because there's confidentiality, privacy, ayan.
Oh, wow, it's a good thing that you said that. Kasi kung titingnan natin, I mean, meron tayong parang tinatawag yung sa confidentiality dun sa mga patients or clients.
Yeah, obviously you don't reveal their names or you don't post them na I have a client right this time and i-picture mo, i-selfie mo. Siyempre, each person is unique and you have to take care of him also, di ba? That's why we have what we call as privacy and confidentiality, okay? So everything, lahat ng patients mo, syempre hindi siya pwede i-reveal. And hindi mo siya pwede gawing example sa iba. Dapat it's only you and the client.
Yeah, very good.
Miss Maerrol, there are some psychologists, especially in the States, okay, they actually feature their clients, okay. So what can you say about those YouTubers?
Ito naman, if they ask na permission, obviously, hindi pwede na anytime pwede ka mag-picture then obviously you have to ask your client. For example, na-treat na siya, then road to recovery na. Then you ask, for example, friends kayo, you want me to feature you, parang an inspiration to other people that before you had this problem and right now you're okay, you did well. But obviously, you have to ask the permission of the client if okay lang, if feature mo siya. Because some clients naman, like for example, the COVID, diba? Ang COVID, hindi mo pwede i-reveal yung identity nila unless sila na mismo ang magsasabi. Like si Boss Sanchez, diba? Yung parang parang yung journey niya, yung may mga artista din,
Yes,
na
yung
parang
mga
kina
artista.
Angeline Quinto, si ano nga yung funny na lalaki, Pipito
Well,
Manaloto, sino ba?
si Michael V.
Calvi. Na parang siya na mismo na ito, nalungkot ako, umiyak ako, I'm aware. Yeah. Parang ang journey niya, that is to serve, to inspire. Now, for example, if you have this, huwag kayo magpalungkot, labanan nyo, ito gawin nyo, pero okay naman sa kanya because may consent nila. There's a what we call as may consent ng client.
So it's better to maybe, and also the angle of the story, like more inspirational.
Oh, inspirational. Na for example, na they want to inspire other people, to motivate, na kung nakaya ko, kaya nyo rin. Yeah. But sometimes yung iba, on the process, parang wag muna. Parang usually, they reveal that once na nag-recover na. Yung parang, I'm here na, parang ganyan.
So during COVID season, okay, when COVID started, there was a term that actually surfaced. Okay, so if you were a relative of somebody who is going through depression, so how can you do parang kumbaga emergency or parang emergency relief, or somebody who's to parang somebody had an attack or at the workplace or at home, and how can you have first aid on somebody who is experiencing something, a mental
Usually
condition?
sa workplace, yung iba kapag, for example, there is depression or yung anxiety, yung kinakabahan, marami akong nakikita nito even sa students, they have what we call hyperventilation. Remember mo, yung parang bigla na tumba, umiiyak-iyak pagkatapos hindi makahinga. So yung first aid doon is a brown paper bag. Or anything, or yung paper mo, pwede mo siya i-fold lang, hindi siya pwede plastic. Yung first aid can be, yung nakita ko palagi is the hyperventilation. Ang anxiety kasi, parang it's like na nag-increase yung heart rate, nag-increase yung respiratory rate. So when you say hyperventilation, yung parang bumilis yung paghinga. Okay, kasi natatakot, or parang hino-hold nila yung galit, then bigla pag iyak nila, ayun, hinahabol na nila yung breath nila, then bigla natumbas sila, nanginginig, tumitigas. We encounter that also. Parang nag-seminar kami in one school. So, ang gawin mo, parang i-relax mo. Siyempre, yung for example, yung mga kasama mo, yung mga tight niya na na mga damit, for example, i-loosen mo so that maka-breathe siya. Then you remove mga sharp objects. For example, may necklace or meron siyang earrings na sharp of which na maka-harm sa kanya. Then put him or her in a safe place. Yung iba naman sa floor. But you have to hold the head kasi sometimes parang mag-seizure siya. Ninalagyan ng bag. Then after which, okay, you get a brown paper bag. Okay, hindi naman, kung wala kang brown paper bag, for example, yung mga McDo na mga sa shake fries, brown paper bag, or get simply a paper, igawin mo siyang cone, yung cone, parang yung cone.
Okay.
Yan. Dapat paper ha, hindi plastic. Then you put them sa mouth. Okay. Ang purpose ng hyperventilation is increase oxygen. Mataas yung oxygen niya. So, ano gawin mo? You put the brown paper, i-trap mo. So that pag, exhale niya ng carbon dioxide, ang mai-inhale niya yung carbon dioxide to balance the oxygen in the body. Ayun, after which, ayun, nare-relax na. Ayan. So that is one of the first aid.
So, parang ganito gagawin
ang
ko.
next naman, ayan. Basta brown.
Yan. This is like my art. This is actually art paper.
Ayun, no? Parang cone lang siya. I-trap mo lang.
Gawin ng cone.
Pagkatapos, i-protect mo ang head, okay? Kasi sometimes yun, nagsi-seizure sila. Hindi lakihan mo yung yung sa mouth.
Lakihan natin. Kasi nawawash out eh. Parang
yan, tama yan. Then, ilagay lang sa mouth. Ayan. Pagkatapos yun, ipa-relax mo, ayun. Pagkatapos, next naman, for depression naman, yung hindi nagsasalita or parang withdrawn siya, sometimes yun, they need kasama. Meaning, it's like, puntahan mo, you talk to them, and sometimes, you know what, di ba sabi nila, once you share your feelings, it becomes light. Sometimes they need somebody to talk to open up. Okay? Pero kung parang kita mo na suicidal na siya, that's the time you ask for help. Hanap ka ng psychologist or look for mga hotline for suicide awareness and prevention. Ayan.
So the ones that are threatening to kill themselves, suicide, okay, yun hanapan talaga ng counseling, okay?
They need na talaga mga therapy for that. I-refer mo na to psychologist. Ayan.
Kasi yun yung ano, kasi minsan dito sa forum, dito sa HR Shouts, there was like yung start nung COVID season, meron nagtithreaten, may nag-message sa akin, gusto na daw ibangga yung sarili niya sa wall. Kasi parang may nafe-feel siya, tapos depressed siya, pero gusto daw niya iuntog yung ulo niya sa wall. So I talked to her, sabi ko, magkwento ka muna, but I was getting the number of yung National Mental Hospital.
Very
And
good,
I tried to convince her to call it, kung pwede niya tawagan, or I actually called the number and then gave her number.
Yeah, tama. Because you know what? You don't have to take mga suicide or nagvo-verbalize na siya. So you have to take that seriously. Okay? Or else, gagawin niya na yun talaga. Okay? At nagsasign na siya ng signs and nagsasabi na talaga. So parang every minute counts for that client. So good talaga na you asked for the help.
So this was a complete stranger. Actually, I don't know how I think she saw my name in another forum. And then for some reason, she reached out to me. And her first sentence was, "Ma'am, I want to hurt myself." So sabi ko, nakita ko yon, parang tinanong ko siya kung pwede ba kita tawagan or whatever. So when I called her up, umiiyak siya nung time na yon. And kasi parang there was like a lot of pressure at work, and then she was alone. She was alone. She's living alone. Wala siyang any relative at home.
At wala siyang makausap. Yun din yung problem minsan, na wala kang ma-vent ng feelings mo. That's why they say, once problem are shared, they become light. Na for example, na-notice mo na may problem ka, naghiwalay kayo, yung parang kung i-hold mo siya, parang ang bigat-bigat. Pero once iiyak mo, you share it with a friend, nagiging light siya. Ayun, that's why yun. For example, lalo na sa mga lalaki. Kasi they feel that, wow, hindi pwede umiyak yung mga lalaki. That's why, dapat you need friends talaga to talk. That's why you connect with them. Okay, once may problem ka.
You know, Miss Maerrol, okay, I think your students are really wanting to come in our Zoom room. Okay, I will let this one in. Tanungin natin siya, interviewin natin siya. Si Pearl Joy.
You know what? Parang,
si Pearl Joy first. Okay. Hi, Pearl Joy. You are live? Yeah. How are you? Oh, I think her mic is not working well.
Yeah.
So, there, anyway, we'll just go and put her on mute, okay? So her mic is not working well. So anyway. So siguro, Pearl Joy, you just joined the live stream, okay? So we'll just remove you on the Zoom group. Okay, so anyhow, okay, kasi your students have been trying to go in our Zoom room, okay, since 8 a.m.
Thank you so much for the support. Yeah, usually kasi, yung mga speakers ko nagsasalita, okay, parang first time ka na, ako naman ngayon in-interview, ako naman ina-ask ngayon, okay, thank you. Yung mga friends ko, yung mga taga-Iloilo.
So we've been talking about doing first aid, okay? So if you are the HR, we'll summarize it because it's quite important. If you are the HR, it happens at work. So if there's a physical manifestation, like they cannot breathe, you have to loosen their clothing and then remove sharp objects.
Yeah.
And then
put them in a safe place.
Yes.
Yeah, pagkatapos, you get this, okay? Yung parang, yung paper, you fold it, then
Then make them breathe, okay, through the cone, okay, that you made from the paper. And then for those who are, verbalizing that they're going to kill themselves, immediately seek help, okay, like call the national, there's a hotline for the National Mental
NCMH,
Yes. Or there's actually a lot of volunteer groups like Ateneo, I remember.
They have not parang yung Bulataw Center nila, parang ganun.
Yeah, they advertised it at the early part of the pandemic because there was a lot of talk of depression and anxiety. So there. So that's the first 8 that you should do. And then the longer term ones, like, kasi there's like another type, hindi naman to, like for example, like depression, nasi-stress sa work, nabu-burn out. How can they address that? Maybe through a conversation?
Yeah, you know what? Yung mga, for example, okay, ang mga ganyan na case, especially ngayon, nakakapagod. Actually, yung kinwento mo kanina, from the start pa lang, you know what? You have to wear your mask. You have to wear your... Alam mo, nakakapagod siya. Pagising mo pa lang, even though you rest for 5 to 6 hours, pagising mo na notice mo, ang pagod. Because before, yung work mo is just physical stress. Parang going to work, pagod. But right now, may emotional, may psychological stress brought about by this COVID na hindi mo alam yung kaaway mo. That's why, pag-wear mo pa lang ng, it's like pag alis mo ng bahay, make sure na complete yung ano mo, yung mga guards mo. It's like, na-wear mo na yung mask mo, yung face shield mo, may alcohol ka na dala, may tissue paper ka, pag sakay mo sa jeep, nakakapagod. Pagdating mo na sa work, hindi ka pa naka 1 minute or 1 hour, pagod ka na, okay? That's why, to prevent this, okay, obviously, pagdating mo sa bahay, okay, also have time for yourself, okay? That's why, sabi nga ni Ma'am Yang before, sa seminar niya, may self-care ka. You also have time for yourself. Hindi pwede na trabaho, of which mapapagod ka talaga. So, for example, may time din that you take care of yourself. For example, daw, paganda ka, okay, paano ka ng hair mo, sa bahay lang din. Or for example, mag-makeup pa sa bahay mo na kahit wala kang work for you to feel good. Like for example, mag-cut ka ng nails, or you connect with your friends. Yung iba naman, through social, what we call that? Social media. Ang iba daw, para mag-pass ng time, nagti-TikTok. If you look at it, TikTok lang yan, pero nire-release nila yung mga stress nila. They want to enjoy, okay? And they want to be appreciated also pag-post nila. Yung iba naman, i-divert mo from work. Like sa bahay, magplantita or plantito ka. Okay? Mag-plant ka doon or mag-take care ka ng mga dogs mo. Okay? That's why you divert naman from work to something that you love. Like for example, mag-painting ka dyan. Or for example, you spend time with your parents, okay? Pwede kayo mag-take out ng food, then you eat all together sa bahay. Para hindi lang puro work. Na pagdating mo work, pag-wake up mo work, okay? So also have time for yourself. You talk to your parents, you tell them nakakapagod, you share to them your problems. Ayan, sometimes you will have a little of family therapy, mag-reminisce kayo ng remember when you were young, ganyan. Or you talk to your friends through Facebook lang din or through Messenger. You connect with your special or your loved ones, okay? Your mga friends mo.
So, see, Ken, actually, Miss Maerrol, Ken is actually an NLP expert, okay? It's actually, he's been doing actually pro bono work, okay? Yung mga itong nag-reach out sa amin who are depressed or experiencing anxiety. So, Ken, what can you say about people who are reaching out to you?
Una, syempre, pinoprofile ko muna, iniintindi ko talaga muna yung story nila. I mean, a lot of people right now have like, alam mo yun, nahihirapan sila mag-express kung ano yung nararamdaman nila. Again, it may be for mostly men, for women, depende rin talaga sa sitwasyon. Again, ang lawak eh. Napag-uusapan nga natin about anxiety, depression. Pero as we get to talk to the people, pansinin na natin na iba-iba yung meaning nila sa sarili nila. Minsan, one good question that I have pala, Ms. Maerrol, what do you think about self-diagnosis? Kasi, I mean, a lot of like parents right now, may anxiety anak ko eh. Pero, gets mo, di ba? Hindi.
Oh, that's why, you know what? Hindi lang siya na you use the word anxiety or depression. Yung parang nalungkot ka na, depressed agad, natakot ka lang, anxiety agad. Okay?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why it's a collective of symptoms. Hindi lang isa, natakot ka lang, anxiety, because yung anxiety may stages yan eh. May 1, 2, 3, and yung 4 may panic na. That's why hindi lang pwede na at this moment, parang one instance lang, you will tell na anxious ka na, okay? That's why, hindi yan na, yung terms na make sure mo, yung terms na ginagamit mo, hindi lang na takot ka, fear ka na, natakot ka lang, anxious ka na, parang ganon, or nalungkot ka lang, depressed ka na agad. Hindi.
Yes. Kaya siguro on my practice kasi as I do work with hypnotherapy, NLP and other alternative approaches. Ang nakikita ko kasi ang laki ng factor nung pag-brand ng isang bagay. So for example, hindi pa sila nakakapag formally seek sa like psychologists, psychometricians, 'di ba? 'Di ba? Pero nakita nila sa Google na, "Uy, depression. Ay, nararamdaman ko to. May depression na ako." So with them consciously and subconsciously associating their feeling to it, mas
They
lalong
diagnose themselves
nag-a-amplify.
na.
Lalong nag-a-amplify ngayon na may depression. It repeats, 'di ba? That's why for friends going through these feelings, yeah, feel free to reach out to a professional so that they could probably assist you with actually working through it faster. Yeah.
So can I also add on to that, Ken? There are a lot, kasi there's a lot of literature na like, di ba? Yung when we were going to, I'm sure people who went through vaccination, they've been reading about which vaccination was more effective and then the after effects of the vaccination. So merong iba, some friends, okay, I had to really tell them, maybe you're just overthinking about it because I think that the program that's been with the government, what the government is implementing, I'm sure there's some guidelines that was put in place. Pero kasi yung ano ngayon, we need to be vaccinated. Everyone needs to be vaccinated. Kaya lang yung iba papunta pa lang sa sa munisipyo or yung sa area.
I'll share to you.
Yung BP tumaas na kasi
Ako, i-share ko yung experience. Kahit ako, my God, I am a nurse and I'm pro-vaccine talaga. Imagine ako, I just posted like 2 weeks ago. Tumaas ang BP. You know what? Nasa mind mo na okay. Atat pa nga ako na ma-vaccinate. Parang pagkatapos it was Sinovac. Parang kaya lang, maging choosy pa ba ako? That's why, you know what? I was inspired din. Good din pala na bini-video or in-interview because parang head siya ng St. Luke's Medical Center sa Global City. And if you look at it, this is a rich hospital. They can afford to buy Moderna and Pfizer vaccines. Pero nagpaturok sila ng Sinovac. During the time na dumating talaga, yung parang after PGH, sila. Yung sabi niya, right now, there is a global pandemic and there is the shortage of vaccines. Even though we can afford, but the question is, where can we buy them? And yung isa kasi parang na-COVID na. And I don't want to be in that stage again. So nagpa-vaccine. That's why kahit ako din, pag tinext ako parang 10 in the evening, the next day, parang wow. Parang kaya lang, parang hindi ako prepared. Bakit agad-agad? Okay. So, pagkatapos, you know what? Gusto mo. And you know what? Hindi mo siya makontrol. That time, I was relaxed kasi excited ako. And at least kahit paano, I'll be protected. Better meron sa wala. Better may Sinovac sa wala, di ba? Kahit 56% lang yan. Okay. Yeah, kaya good naman eh. Kahit gusto mo, saan ka pupunta to avail of that vaccine? Ito naman ina-offer na for free. Pagkatapos, pagkuha ng BP ko, because obviously they'll check your BP, they'll get your history. Sabi sa akin ng nurse, sabi niya, syempre di naman alam ng nurse ako, no? Sabi niya, ma'am, ang taas ng BP mo. Sabi ko, ano yung BP ko? 150 over 100? Oh, hindi! I'm relaxed. Parang, sabi ko, ang taas. And I don't feel anything that time. So sabi ko, it's okay. Sabi niya, ma'am, doon ka muna ha, magpahinga ka. O bako, okay, sige. Pumunta ako sa sasakyan ko because I brought with me my BP apps. Diba nurse ako? I have also my BP apps. Pag-check ko ng BP ko, doon ako kinabahan. I can feel talaga na nag-beat na yung heart ko. Obviously, kapag tumaas yung heart rate mo, tataas yung BP mo. Because BP is heart rate times cardiac output. Ayun. Pag-check ko, tama. Akala ko yung nurse, parang ano niya lang, parang sinabihan niya lang ako. Pero tama, 150 over 100. Yung ginawa ko, kasi Tagaytay, parang garden sa labas, naglibot-libot ako. Pero nandyan kasi sa mind ko, na yung mga interview na nakita mo sa TV na kapag daw tumaas ang BP, pwede daw ma-stroke, yung mga ganon. That's why doon ako natakot, na hala baka ma-stroke ako pag-inject, ganon. After 30 minutes, I went back. mataas pa din, 150/90. So, nag-defer ulit ako. Pagtapos naglibot ulit ako sa garden, kumanta na ako ng mga Sharon Cuneta. Lahat sa psych na nalaman ko at sa nursing, ginawa ko na. Nag-distract na ako, I go around in the garden, nagkanta-kanta na, nag-selfie-selfie na sa lahat ng kahoy doon. Pagbalik ko, nag-130/90, ayun, nag-go na ako for that. Ayan, wala naman, ano siya, may side effect, pero manageable. Yun nga
Manageable naman.
Yeah, ang delikado kung magka-COVID ka. Ayun talaga. And I still have another shot on May 6, kaya good luck. Okay. Pero ang good naman, parang na-desensitize ka na kumbaga because you already had your first. Yung parang yung second kaya. Okay.
Well, ako kasi ever since, kasi we've been going through this 1 year, di ba? And I'm telling you, I was not that composed, okay, before, okay? But I just try to think about, if I read something bad, I just like maybe try to see if possible ba yon, or I'll try to look for other explanations for it to calm it down. Kasi pag yung initial shock talaga, like for example, the AstraZeneca causes this kind of side effects. Parang ma-shock, parang, oy, kung ganun, di ba?
Matatakot ka.
Matatakot ka na. So, what I do is...
Pagkatapos yung mga blood dysplasia daw. Yung parang mag-allergy ka. Yung parang na-read mo, parang yung mga blood clots. Napapraning ka. Yung habang nga marami kang na-read at sa social media, mas natatakot ka. Ayun.
So that...
Kaya rin sometimes, you know what? Ang mga problems sa psych, sometimes hindi mo siya makokontrol. Ang mind mo tells you that, okay, dapat magpaano ka, ba't yung body mo nag-react differently? Diba? Sabi ko, I know, I'm really positive na good. But you know what? Pagkuha ng BP, parang you cannot deny. Your vital signs tell you na tatakot ka, tarantada ka kasi, okay? Ayun siya. Kahit, di ba, yung sa mind mo, parang it's like, alam mo, cognitively, say na, I weigh the advantages over disadvantages, but you know, that's why you cannot blame some people na natatakot, na may mga anxiety na severe, na may mga depression, kasi parang, you know, but you cannot help it. Ako gusto ko yung parang, makontrol ko ba na parang nagtitibok-tibok yung heart ko, yung parang, wala na lang, stop ha, okay? Gusto ko na magpa-vaccine, parang, that's why, parang apply mo lang yung, in-apply ko, nag-relaxation, icing, then I called my parents. I talked to them, alam mo, ganito, parang yon. At that time, ang sister ko din, parang sabay kami, but she's in Quezon City. Ayun.
So once you get naman your first dose, you get relaxed na, kasi parang this one is, the half of it is already over, and then at least may protection ka na.
Ang word doon, because you anticipate, naturukan ka. Pagkatapos, nagsisink in sa'yo yung mga story ng iba na na high blood, na ganito, natumba. Pagkatapos, knowing na nurse ako, nag-over-rationalize, meron kang what we call that na, kapag tumaas ang BP ko, pwede ako ma-stroke. Pwede ako mamatay, yung mga ganon. Parang vaccine lang, patay agad, yung mga ganon. That's why, hirap na kung mas marami kang alam Kasi marami na tumatakbo sa mind mo. Ayan.
Yan yung sinasabi sa akin. Kasi my husband actually got his first dose already. He scheduled on May 8 na Sabi niya, ikaw, tatawa-tawa ka dyan sa akin. Pag ikaw, baka mas grabe ka pa. Sabi mo naman sa akin. But anyhow, that's actually for our own good. So this one, the reason na kwento ko to, kasi there's some people, there's what you call anticipatory worry.
Yeah, that's why, because you anticipate the pain, the fear, and the side effects. Ayun.
So, nag-overthink ka na. Ako pa naman, pag nasi-stress, may tumutubo na sa mukha kong mga pantal. So,
iba din, di ba? Overstress, for example, nagsistudy, nagre-review. Yung stress nila, lumalabas sa body through pimples. Parang, puputok pa yung mga pimples nila. That's why good din sometimes na some people post yung mga testimonies nila. You have friends din nag-post na, wala naman pala nangyari. Okay naman pala. That's why they will also feel good. Yeah, that's why, for example, na may mga classmates ka, natapos na din sila, wala naman nangyari. Okay, ayun. And sometimes, hindi outweigh mo na mas better yung dadaanan ko compared kung mag-COVID ako. Ayun. If I'm doing this, I'll be doing this for my family, for those people around me.
Okay. So that's a good advice. Okay, at least coming from a nurse, okay, and from a physical therapist and someone who's studying psychology, they would know that these are things that are normal because maybe na may narinig ka nga na news, okay, this is what happened to some people. So just relax and then just think that this is for your own good. So, Miss Maerrol, yung mga nag-e-exam naman dyan na kinakabahan, baka naman yun nga, ang dami-dami ng pimples.
Speaking of pimple, meron ako, matalino kong student, pero nag-top 3, hindi ko sabihin ko anong pangalan, yeah. Parang nagulat ako kasi mukha siya si Virgin Mary, ang ganda-ganda talaga. But during the review, sabi ko, bakit ka parang pimple na tinubuan ng mukha? Ayun, kasi ang stress niya, pimple. Pagkatapos, parang ilang nights siya na-pressure because she's really intelligent. And the school is expecting her to top, but she made it talaga to top 3. Okay? At ang ganda-ganda niya, as an siya yung student ko na parang si Virgin Mary. Pagkatapos, we also experienced, kasi ito nga sabi natin, yung anxiety is fear of the unknown. Yung parang hindi nila alam, yung parang may takot sila na mafe-fail sila. Bakit ka mafe-fail? Kasi baka lalabas yung hindi ko pinag-aralan, baka during the board exam, sasakit yung ulo ko, baka mainit yung classroom, baka malapit ako sa aircon, bubunga ng tubig, mabasa yung answer sheet ko. So it's like na, kung ma-fail ako, magagalit yung parents ko, baka mag-break kami ng boyfriend. It's like, parang nag-mix na lahat ng takot mo, hindi mo alam. So that's why, you know what, during the board exam, usually we have what we call as, may in-house kami. We gather the students, we are all together so that they will share the same anxiety, same takot. Na huwag ka matakot kasi pareho naman kayong preparation. They are together noong pa pre-COVID. That's why 4 sila in a room, they talk. Kasi sometimes kung ikaw lang isa sa bahay, natatakot ka, baka hindi ka magising. Because dapat 4 o'clock you have to be awake, 6 o'clock you have to be in the testing room. That's why part pa yun ng takot. That's why once we are together, parang 4 days or 5 days prior to the board exam, we share, we sing, we pray, we review. Then dinadala namin sa sigaw-sigaw. I can do it, I can make it. Yeah, pasigaw-sigaw lang. Pero part yun, na-release na stress. Then may mga music kami, umiiyak sila. Na kung ano nagpapabigat sa inyo, iiyak nyo so that during the board exam, it will be light. Parang ganon. And speaking of that, my God, as in 16, 17 years into the review, meron akong estudyante, uminom ng Cobra.
Red Bull?
Ayan,
Ay, Cobra. Magpapalpitate ka dun.
Alam mo, kasi uminom siya 12 o'clock. This is kasi parang it's like may pressure na rin to keep her awake. Pag 3 o'clock in the afternoon, uminom ulit. Pagkatapos, pumunta sa amin, sa staff, pulang-pula, sabi niya, ma'am, nahihilo ako. Then when we check her, parang yung pulse rate niya, ang bilis. We rush her to the hospital. Tumaas BP. Yun, nag-inom ng Cobra. Then we have this in-house nursing to sa Iloilo. During the review, so sabi ng mga classmates niya, ma'am, parang hindi wala daw siya asthma, pero yun, nag-hyperventilate. Part din yun ng anxiety. Dinala ko din siya sa ER. Ayun, pagkatapos yun, pinarelax lang ng doctor, yun lang yung treatment, pinarelax. Then during the board exam, I also have a student, may medication siya for anxiety. That's why if you have a medication for that, i-drink mo siya, especially in the board exam. Imagine, parang nag-break lang between the 2 board exam, parang alas 12 nag-break lang, ni-rush ko siya sa ER. Kasi, ayun, nag-anxiety attack, yung parang hindi talaga alam yung gawin niya. Pagkatapos may student din ako na nag-palpitate din, yung ginawa ko, sinakay ko siya sa sakyan, at habang iba nagla-lunch, naglibot-libot kami sa plaza ng Haro to relax her. That's why, speaking of that anxiety, mga stress, I encountered a lot of that. Then may student din kami. The board exam that time was in Manila, but she's from Iloilo. May congenital problem siya sa heart. Na-trigger. Imagine, pagtapos bigla siya nag-blue. That time, wala pa nga ako dun sa hotel So, it so happened we have 2 nurses na staff nun. Si Sir J.K. at si Sir Kim. Pagkatapos, she was brought to Manila doctors. Because ayun, nag-trigger, nag-palpitate, and she has a congenital heart defect when she was young. Ayun, that's why may mga ganyan kaming cases. Meron din kami sa Iloilo, nag-seizure. Because nung bata siya, may history siya of, yun yung nilagyan ng kutsara sa mouth?
Epilepsy.
Epilepsy. Siyempre, with stress din, at hindi siya nag-take na medication, na-trigger. Ni-rush din namin sa St. There's Medical. That's why, speaking of anxiety, we encountered a lot from life-threatening, na nag-blue na, hindi na huminga. Same din yung treatment namin, ni Lucet, at ang laki pa ng girl noon, 4 o 5 lalaki, bumitbit. Pagkatapos so happen din mga staff, ako marunong mag-drive, si Raymond. Pagkatapos ayun, pagdating namin, syempre parang responsibility din namin because during that time, she was with us. Pagkatapos bigla na lang siya humiga, nag-seizure din. Then obviously, she was surrounded by nurses kasi it was a nursing review. Pinotect yung head niya. Pagkatapos yun, nilusan lahat, but we rushed her to the nearest hospital.
So it's good to know that you're one or two of your staff also are nurses. Okay.
Yeah.
So they know what to do when there's a
First
physical,
aid.
there's a first aid thing to do for those who are going through yung mga manifestations ng anxiety.
Yeah, that's why they're in good hands in RGO, okay? And
Yes.
ako, nurse din ako. Si Miss Edith, nurse din. We have a lot din. Ayan, noon si Sir Ryan, nurse din. So, at least kahit papaano, we have first aid for these students din. At malapit kami sa PGH, doon sa Manila, across lang, or Manila.
Oh, so that's good. That's good.
Or Manila doctors. Ayun. Obviously, there are certain cases na hindi mo na talaga kaya and needs medical intervention. Obviously, all we can do is kung ano lang makaya. Pero kung hindi na, okay, and the earlier, the better. So once nakita mo na ang patient suddenly turns blue or bigla nag-seizure, out of loss of consciousness, bring him to the nearest hospital.
Yung question ni Ken kanina was with namang mga students, mga children, okay? So what can you say about parents who are parang overdiagnosing their children during the pandemic? Yung
Okay.
sinasabi nila
Now,
baka may anxiety na daw yung kids nila kasi nakakulong sa bahay.
Okay. For example, yun, di ba? Kasi sometimes sila lang nagda-diagnose din ng mga anak nila. If I were them, yeah, they also refer their children to mga psychologists or to experts. They're also developmental psychologists or developmental psychiatrists, mga ganyan. Or to their pediatrician, baka may pinagdadaanan ng yung anak. Ayan. But ang first is they talk to their children first if there is something that bothers them. Because sometimes, once you explore with the feelings, the behavior becomes different. Yun pala yung bata, may gusto lang isasabihin, ilalabas, iiyak, pero hindi niya masabi, then nagmamanifest as iba sa behavior. That's why try to explore first or to talk with the child. Okay, if there is something that is bothering him, then after which, kung hindi na, that's the time that they seek medical help or an intervention that can further help them. If they have a friend na psychologist, then better, okay? Or may developmental psychiatrist sila nakilala or sa pediatrician nila. Ayan.
Kasi ako, what I do, actually I do art therapy for kids. Most of my young learners, they go through art therapy kasi nga, at least they have something to do while, just to supplement their studies. Okay, so minsan tinatanong ako niyan, ako kasi ang signpost ko is they cannot concentrate during our class. Okay, like, kasi we go through drawing or origami.
Play therapy pwede din.
And then sometimes they have interaction class. All of the students, they interact with one another. Ano sila doon? Pabidahan sila doon. Show and tell sila. So if there's somebody who doesn't, ino-observe ko rin, and if they don't really they don't really respond normally, I actually tell the parent na there was some change in the student at that time. So, yun lang, sinasabi ko lang, and maybe you can talk to the student what happened during that time. Pero I don't tell them na baka may anxiety or whatever yung student. Yun, ganun lang ka-open-ended yung description ko.
Yeah. You keep them busy and syempre introduce to them new hobbies. Like for example, painting or for example, mga taking care of the dogs. Or you involve them in magplant, plantito, ganon, so that they will be very busy. Ayan. Pagkatapos, syempre, you prevent them also from mga gadgets na, okay, mga nag-speak mga foul words. Ayan.
Nako, alam mo ba na they're actually, I tell them to minimize their YouTube exposure. Kasi yung may isa akong student, nagulat ako. It was a rap song. Tapos yung F word, parang sinasabi niya, no, it's normal, teacher. Tapos gano'n, nag-rap siya.
Totoo. Because right now, parang yung mga, di ba, mga bad words, parang ang easy lang, part siya ng mga kanta. Pagkatapos, it's part of the expression of which na, parang kahit na sa private school mo or sa Catholic school, pero ito nakikita nila always, ito yung mga ano nila, yung mga sinasubscribe or ito yung fina-follow. That's why you also have to check, okay, their Facebook, mga ganyan, mga fina-follow nila, ayan.
So there. So thank you for giving us something to work with the parents. Okay. So Ken, do you have a follow-up question?
Yeah, malaking factor 'yun, environment, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Yung attention span kasi, I mean, for the parents, talking to a lot of parents then and friends in the field, napapansin natin na um, para siyang ano, yun na yung norm eh, Cocomelon. Di ba yung pag ano naiwan, ano parang the parents are training, natitrain ninyo yung kids ninyo rin nung nabibigyan niyo sila ng patterns. So parang
Mm.
pag gusto mo tumahimik,
Sa-
umiiyak, o-on mo na yung Cocomelon. You're training them na, 'di ba? At a young age ganun eh
Or
nagagawa
for example,
nila.
you establish routine with them.
Oh, yung routine.
Tapos you also have this, what you call that, the behavioral therapy na once they do something, you give, parang ano siya operant na you give reinforcements. Like for example, sige, tapusin mo to, then we will play. Like for example, or after this, we will buy some, magpa-deliver tayo ng ice cream, parang ganon. Then you keep them busy yun. For example, sa amin, bigla kami nag-into painting. Yung parang may mga numbers na this number 1 is green, parang ganyan. Yeah.
So-
Pagkatapos,
so-
bigla kami nagka-aso, maraming aso talaga. So that parang at least every day we keep
Mga
them
pets.
busy. Yeah, mga pets din. Because parang mga dogs talaga, stress relievers sila. Habang titingnan ko lang, parang nawala yung stress mo.
Yeah, meron mga karamihan na suggest ngayon yung pet therapy.
Yeah.
Pet therapy, buy a pet, 'di ba? Para kung lalo na kung the patient or the client is lonely at home, it helps then, syempre nasabi mo na kanina may role yung sa halaman, 'di ba? Pwede mo kausapin yung halaman mo.
Oh, yeah, sa mga plants din. And you know what? Yung ano sa kanila, yung rewarding sa kanila, for example, nag-plant ka ng kamatis, then after which nakita nila, oh, nag-grow. Yeah,
Nag-grow.
that's why they encourage them na, sige, damihan pa natin. Parang ganyan. That's why you involve them in this task din. Okay.
Tapos gubat na yung bahay.
Oh, yeah.
Madami ng
Siyempre, you teach
nagubat
them
na.
how to do household chores, di ba? You involve them sa mga ganyan.
Okay, so Miss Maerrol and Ken, okay, so our actually time flew again very fast, okay? Ano na, 1.5, it's a little bit over 1 hour na, so it was an interesting
yeah.
discussion. Yes, and I hope that our viewers got a thing or two, okay, calming down, okay, their anxiety or maybe some sort of worry during this pandemic. So Miss Maerrol, do you have any webinars or what do we expect from you moving forward?
Okay. So yung website, RGO Review Center, we have our FB pages. We have this RGO Psychology Review Center. Then we have a lot of branches, okay? I'm happy that, yun nga, sabi ko, I have really a good team in RGO. And we are, parang it's like the extension of my family, of which na in my absence sila nando. That's why we have the coordinators in each branch, okay? So for those who are aspiring to become RPMs and RPSI, registered psychometricians and registered psychologists, marami din yung mga undergrads kasi eh. That's why we have a lot of branches. Aside from RGO Manila, we have RGO Santa Mesa. Then going south, okay, we have sa Cavite, we have 3. We have the RGO Dasma, the Tagaytay. Then may school kami before sa Cavsu Silang. We have a review there. Then we have the RGO Muntinlupa. Then we have the Laguna. And we have the Lipa. And soon, mag-open kami ng Batangas. Okay? Then for the south, we have, south na yun. We have for north. Ang tandaan ko lang yung NLEX as SLEX. Okay? Then for the north, we have Quezon City, Santa Mesa doon, Quezon City, we have Kamanava, then we have Pampanga, Tarlac, Bataan, then we have Baguio, okay? Then soon may La Union na kami, may Pangasinan, okay? May Cabanatuan, okay? Next naman, for the Visayas, we have Cebu, Bacolod, Iloilo. Then for the Mindanao, Luz Bimen, okay? For the Davao, we have, for the Mindanao, we have Davao, CDO, Iligan, and Zamboanga. Okay, so find the RGO nearest your place. And I tell you that Our top-notchers are all over the Philippines. Walang branch na mas magaling. We are equal because ang lecturers namin naglilibot lang. That's why it's like every branch that we have produce a lot of top-notchers. And ang RGO, we've proven ourselves for the last 5 years. We produced 227 top-notchers and 21 times awarded as the best and most trusted and organized psychology review center. And I'm proud to say that we are also CHED accredited. That's why, okay, for the past 5 years, we stand by integrity, sincerity, quality, and excellence. And for those students that we have right now, thank you for trusting us. And altogether, we will journey towards that license. And here in RGO, we are a family. We always treat our students very important. That's why family is Ohana. And Ohana means nobody is left behind. Ang top-notchers are bonuses to us, but we work for 100%. Okay? And we always tell our students to believe in themselves. If there's one thing that RGO is proud of, we are proud that we are the review center that truly cares. We care for students, and we tell them failure is never an option. We always tell them this chant that I can do it, I can make it, I will top the board exam and be the number one. Because as you think, so it is. The power of positive thinking, because what the mind conceives, the body will achieve. RGO is a business, but this is a business with the heart for the students. And we have the mission, vision, and philosophy is to produce one professional every family, because that professional will feed a lot of family. One nurse, once America, nagpapadala sa family, ilan ang pinapaaral, ilan ang pinapakain. That's why yan yung mission namin. And we hope that with our vision and mission, we can touch more lives, we can inspire more hearts, and we can make more dreams come true. RGO in the service of humanity for God's greater glory. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Wow. So those who are actually going to graduate, so some time ago, there was like a group of students in Cebu. I think that's University of San Jose Recoletos State.
Yeah, USJR in
USJR. Okay, so they
Cebu.
Cebu. They invited me, and then I know that there are like 200 graduates, okay, who's going to graduate there. So I think it's good time to look up this page so that if you're going to get into your psychometry, I think there's a psychometry board exam as well there.
Yeah, we have an FB page per branch. For example, RGO Manila, just put their RGO, then the branch you want to review in. For example, RGO Manila, Cebu, Davao, meron. Okay, Baguio.
Okay, so, wow.
And here is your place. Yeah.
Yes, you're all over. You're nationwide. So you're actually within reach. Okay, and then I'm going to go to Ken. So Ken actually has been quiet because he has had a busy day. So hi, Ken. What should we expect from you as well?
And I'll be interviewed by a friend this coming Friday. We're gonna talk about how to invest in the cryptocurrency markets. So siguro I'm gonna share it dito sa HR Shouts and Whispers to shed light din dun sa mga friends natin na gusto matuto at kumita sa cryptocurrency space. Malaman nila kung ano ba yung mga Bitcoin na yan and everything. So yeah, this is probably the next step of money. So yun, and for those who are like interested pa rin with like persuasion, sales, I still do my talks, and thank you kanina so Kenil, Soshov, and Sopru for inviting me to do a talk in where I shared about conversational hypnosis and neurolinguistic programming. So yeah.
So actually, for our viewers, okay, so some of the coaches here in HR Shouts, okay, they're also coaches in Soshov. So they've been actively helping new graduates go over their job interviews, and sometimes, okay, if needed, their mind setting or career pathing para magkaroon sila ng direction. Okay, so that's Soshov. And also, okay, thank you, Ms. Maerrol, for really expounding on a lot of things.
Yeah.
And we actually got a lot of takeaways from your from first aid to talking about anticipatory worry, and then reviewing for the exams in getting your psychology sense. Okay, so that's really mindful. Okay, very rich in a lot of information. And for people here viewing HR Shouts, okay, so we are archiving our FB Live presentations and we are putting it in our YouTube channel. And if you missed this episode, you can also view in our YouTube channel onwards. Okay, so thank you for everyone for joining us this busy Wednesday night. I know that you are you're already tired because it was such a busy day, but you actually made time to listen to our subject matter expert. So moving forward, on Saturday, we've invited one of our moderators, Dr. Flor Linoga. She's a certified psychologist and also an organization development expert. And she will talk about measures on dealing with aggressive employees. So we'll see you next Saturday or this coming Saturday at 6:30 p.m. But for now, it's a temporary goodbye. And thank you to RGO Review Center for gracing our FB Live presentation tonight.